we hope you are enjoying your Freedom tailgate today. We have a special way to celebrate this. Usually we have another pastor or another friend come and talk with Jason and just discuss what freedom is. We're going to do the same thing today, but we thought we'd throw a little twist on it, a little West Main twist. We're going to do it while eating really, really hot wings. We're talking some of the hottest sauces in the world. You have to get like special signed stuff to buy some of these sauces. So we're going to try that out today. And our special guest for today to do that with us is Chris Simon. So Chris, you're a friend. I don't know if you'll be a friend after this, but thank you for being here and doing this with me today. I think it's going to be real fun.
Well, you have a weird definition of fun, but okay.
No, that's what I would say. What did you do to prepare for this today?
So I woke up, I ate a croissant sandwich for breakfast, then I chugged some Pepto, took my regular heartburn pills. I went to lunch at La Fonda and had lots of rice and tortillas and cheese that I read was good for this. And then I chugged some more Pepto and then some more Tums, and I'm ready to go. And chapstick, so.
That was the part that I didn't get ready for. I woke up is what I did.
Yeah, it was game day for me, so.
It should be fun. Well, let's start off, just kind of real quick explanation. They use, can you give me that first one? To be able to tell what the heat level is for each of these sauces, they use a thing called the Scoville unit table. So, to give you kind of a baseline, jalapenos run anywhere from 2,500 to 8,000 Scoville units. Tabasco is about 5,000 Scoville units. This first one is going to be real easy. This is called chili maple hot sauce. It's made by the Hot Ones company. 1,600 Scoville units. So it shouldn't be that bad. So we have not tried any of these, right?
No.
I will say, actually, when I was opening these earlier, some of that got on my thumb, and that's like the fifth one. I can still feel it going down my stomach. So these are gonna be a little warm. If you want to grab your first wing.
Okay.
There you go.
How much are we going for? Just
That'll work right there.
Yeah.
It's gonna get, the more you do now, the less you'll do later, I feel like.
Yeah.
All right, bon appetit.
All right, cheerio. We doing this at the same time?
Doing this at the same time.
Is this where I take a bite and you act like you are?
Right.
Yeah.
Not bad, not bad.
No.
So, let's start with the first question. What does freedom mean to you?
So I think freedom can mean many different things, whether you're talking about politically, spiritually, personally, work, money. Freedom can just have a lot of meanings. So I think it would depend on the context, but in general, freedom for me is knowing that you are free, but also you have a responsibility, and that's a responsibility to preserve it and to respect it and to teach it.
Right.
And so freedom is freedom, but it's also a responsibility.
Right. I asked the same question to my students just last night, and they all said, do what I want, when I want, how I want, without anybody stopping me. And I went ahead and looked up the definition of freedom just so we could have something to kind of start off with. The definition I got was the power to right, or the power or right to act, speak, or think as one wants without hindrance or restraint. So just an idea of what that baseline of freedom that we're going to start talking about today is. Ready for the second one? That first one wasn't bad, right?
Yeah, it was good. I'd eat that one again.
The second one, it tasted good too.
Yeah.
The second one is curry verde hot sauce. It's got a Spanish name, but I'm not going to try to say it. This stuff looks good. Okay. Wing number 2. Oh, this stuff is thick.
Well, you're going all in on that one.
I kind of slipped. All right.
All right.
Here we go.
Bottoms up here.
This one's 6,000 Scoville units. Oh, and just so you know, you're going to hear me talking with some food in my mouth at some point. Mm-hmm. You're going to hear a lot of, it's going to get real, so that's okay. Not bad, still not super hot. Tastes green.
Yeah, I mean, definitely not my favorite, but
No, not.
got a little bit of
great,
heat.
All right, let's go. Take yourself back for a second. When you first left home as an adult, what was your first experience with freedom like?
Going to college at Texas Tech, and I would say it was not very good. I had no structure, no anything, and I just decided I wasn't going to do anything. I took my freedom, just like your student said, to do what I want when I wanted, and I did. I stayed up late and had a good time and didn't go to class, and I had to pay for that. There was a consequence. But yeah, my first taste was freedom. I ran up some credit card debt, and those experiences have flavored my life and later on, and how I teach my kids and do different things, because I don't want them to make those same mistakes.
Right. I think living in Artesia is different.
Mm-hmm.
We're kind of our kids are kind of in this bubble,
Mm-hmm.
right? The school system is all about them. There's churches all over the place. There's opportunities for them to be in safe places and doing safe things, right? And a lot of those decisions are they're pushed towards the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then if they take off to college or the workforce or something, and they go to a different town or a different community, freedom is all over the place. And if we don't know how to handle it, it could be bad, right?
Mm-hmm.
Too much of a good thing is a bad thing. So I'm always telling our students, hey, learn how to follow that freedom correctly now, so that when you take off and you have all this, you still know which way the right path is.
Yeah, absolute freedom is anarchy.
Agreed. Also, when I eat hot stuff, I start to get the hiccups.
Okay.
When I get the hiccups, I might start doing this thing right here and kind of shaking my head uncontrollably. You can tell we're already a bit uncomfortable, and we're barely on number 3. So let's go ahead and move on to number 3. This is called Zesty Lemon Pepper Hot Sauce, the Krabby Shack, and 15,500 Scoville units. So about 2.5 times the last one. Here we go.
This one isn't quite as thick as the last one here, so. Okay.
All right, here we go. Wait for it.
Is it an afterbite?
Hey, I'm okay if it's not.
That one wasn't bad at all.
That wasn't bad at all. Maybe we're tricked from that first one already.
Mm-hmm. Maybe you didn't shake it enough.
Maybe. No, it's on the bottom, huh? That's okay. I'm not going to complain. Third question. What does freedom mean to you as an American? This is a bit more specific.
Sure. So as an American, I think our freedom is very unique, and then it was bought and paid for by others. Our forefathers, our, World War I, World War II, American Revolution, just go down to Civil War, all these things, that our freedom was bought by other people. And I think that's pretty unique in America, and we have a responsibility to maintain that, and we can lose it very easily through security and comfort, because it was won through a lot of discomfort and a lot of risk. And so I think that American experience of freedom is very unique in the world, and it's also very precious.
All right. I think one of the most important parts of our freedom as Americans is to be able to worship how we see fit. Right? I know you just got back from kids camp, right? With the kids, and they do a night called secret or underground church.
Yes.
Right? And kind of explain a little better what underground church is.
Yeah, so underground church is you get into groups, and they have the people that you're going to try to save, and they run out and go hide, and you have to go find them. And it's towards dusk, so it's starting to get dark, and you got to find them and preach to them, or try to get them to hear the word of Jesus and get them to come back to you to the underground church, which you also have to find because you don't know where that's at. And we ended up with a guy in a tree, and he was really tough. He did not want to come down from that tree. I called him Zacchaeus in that, but the boys did get him down, and boy, they were doing their darndest to preach to him and tell him about God, and they got him down, and we took him to the underground church, but it was completely dark by the time we got there. And we had some of the girls that weren't happy that they weren't really unsaved. They were acting. And so one of them told us that we should have gone out and rounded up some unbelievers so they could have preached to them. So it was quite funny, but it was good. I enjoyed it. A lot of fun.
Well, I know in other countries, and that underground church kind of is showing our kids that is in other places you're not allowed to worship freely, and it is a huge humanitarian issue that you're not able to. And so I think that's something we take for granted as Americans sometimes, right? Is we're free to do so much, yet we complain about that freedom sometimes, and we don't process it correctly. So I think that was a really good point you made there. All right.
Okay. Now it's starting to get real here.
I want your answers to be as long as they need to be, man. Just keep. I want to see which one of us drinks water first. It ain't gonna be me.
I'm trying to wonder which one is going to be my demise. Is what I'm wondering.
All right. Well, here we go. This is the fourth sauce. This is Chicago Ghost Hot Sauce, Chile Lengua de Fuego, which loosely translates into fire tongue chili, I think.
All right.
Oh, this one is 36,500 Scoville units.
You guys be careful touching your face.
Yeah, don't touch your face. Thanks, Mike. Yeah. Mike, I told Mike, I said, because usually when we make videos, it's like, all right, no one try to be as quiet as possible, but I told Mike, we're going to need you to remind us not to touch our faces, because if we do, that makes a bad day worse. Oh, this one's thick. Oh, goodness.
Don't use them as eye drops. Oh boy, this one just
this
looks
one looks
dangerous.
mean. It looks mean, doesn't it?
It does. All right, here goes.
It tastes good.
Got a little sweetness to it. A little heat in the back end. But not bad. Oh, you're going for round two.
I don't taste the heat, man. Okay, I taste the heat.
Yeah, it's there.
Found it. I found it. That's a horrible idea. So let's get into a little bit of what the Bible tells us about freedom.
Sure.
Some verses just for us to talk about for a little bit. Galatians 5:1 says, "It is for freedom that Christ has set us free. Stand firm then, and do not let yourselves be burdened again by a yoke of slavery." Galatians 5:13, "You, my brothers and sisters, were called to be free, but do not use your freedom to indulge in the flesh. Rather, serve one another humbly in love." And here's one more. Acts 13:38 and 39 says, "Therefore, my friends, I want you to know that through Jesus, the forgiveness of sins is proclaimed to you. Through him, everyone who believes is set free from every sin, a justification you were not able to obtain under the law of Moses." So when I look at these verses,
You did it.
I almost did it. Look out. Look out. We're going to do this right here. When I look at these verses, I see freedom, biblical freedom, in a completely different light. It's less, to me, it's less of, there's also another verse in the Bible that says that just because everything is permitted doesn't mean that everything is beneficial for us, right? And I think when we have that idea of freedom, we're free from sin, right? Biblically, we're free from sin, meaning we know the difference between right and wrong, right? And we know that sin can take us down this road, even though it's freedom. If we're finding freedom in sin, that's truly bondage. Would you agree?
I would agree.
And so, as we look at freedom and what it's defined as in the Bible, it's that freedom that we get from Christ, freedom from that bondage of sin. Doesn't mean we can do whatever we want.
Yes.
But it means we're free to know that some of that is not good for us.
Yeah.
Which is a completely different idea of freedom, I think, than what's portrayed on the 4th of July. Sometimes when we have the freedom to party and do whatever we want tonight, right? Yeah, you are free to do that, but is it all beneficial for you? And I think that idea of freedom kind of sets those parameters and gives us that path that we should walk down with Christ.
Yeah, I think we're in the yoke of death, like when it talks about the yoke, and our freedom there is freedom from death. Freedom in Christ, that we will have an afterlife with Jesus, and not be separated from him. And where freedom in America was earned by others, this freedom we could never earn. There's no one that could earn it. But it was also done through the sacrifice of others. And it's very similar to the American experience, that we still have to fight for it and teach it and live it every day. But there's nothing that we could do to ever earn it.
Right. Good. You ready?
No.
The fifth one, Los Calientes Rojos. The Red Hots. I like the candy.
Yeah.
Is that right, Mom? Red Hots? Oh.
So if we're going to get a culmination effect going on here.
49,000 Scoville units. So not...
It doesn't help that it's already like 110 degrees outside,
Yeah,
too.
seriously. Like, we're going to have to stay in here after this.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Oof. I'm wondering what we're going to do with all this when we're done. I think there's a youth challenge coming up somewhere. I'm going to get some parents to sign some waivers, though.
Yes. I have some kids that were very interested in trying it. A lot of bravado.
Well, they're sitting, watching, waiting.
Yeah.
They're ready.
Yeah.
Maybe they might have a different idea once they see what happens. Wait till you see me and Dad here in a minute.
I'm going to go ahead and chicken out. No.
All right.
Okay, what's the Scoville on this one?
49,000.
Okay.
Not a fan of the taste.
No. I could pass on that one, but, it's edible.
The heat's building, though.
Yes, the heat is building.
Oh.
It's either that or the air conditioning is getting not working in
It's
here.
both.
Yeah.
It's both.
Yeah.
Just literally
So we're gonna blame
the
it
AC
on.
guys are coming.
Yeah.
So thought we'd just make it as good as we could.
Yeah,
All right. What are some misconceptions about freedom?
Well, I think the biggest one is freedom is free. Freedom has to be bought and paid for and has a cost. And that, you can't have absolute freedom. Your freedom to do things can have consequences, whether it's to you, to others, such as when I was young, had that freedom, but I had consequences that I paid for that for a very long time. And that, it's a right or something that you just earned. I think there's a lot of entitlement around freedom in America, misunderstanding that it does take sacrifice.
And I think for some reason, like, reverence for veterans has diminished a lot in the past couple of decades. I remember when I grew up, I never saw all these protests against veterans and stuff like this, but social media can kind of throws that in our face a little bit. And even when there's reporting against it, it's still putting it in the limelight and this idea that we should all be able to have this opinion. Yeah, you should have this. You should be able to have opinions, but I think that reverence is just being lost a little bit on younger generations, and it's a sad thing to see.
It is highly politicized on TV,
Right.
And I'm always surprised sometimes when I go out and actually you meet people, you have this preconceived notion that they're all going to be crazy. Like when we were in Los Angeles last year, I was kind of thinking it was going to be this wild, crazy area, and we actually saw good people, and we saw, people we would call conservative or different things, and most of them are just people trying to live their lives.
Yeah, same thing when we just got back from Seattle, thinking, and I remember telling parents, like, hey, your kids are going to experience like some far out there, we're not in Kansas anymore kind of experience, right? And I was just amazed at how people, even in completely different political environments, we have the same struggles, right? We still are experiencing that same freedom and still trying to figure out what that means, right? Some other misconceptions about freedom kind of touched on earlier is this idea that biblical freedom means that we're free to live however. We have this get out of jail free card if we just have Jesus. But truly, it means that God doesn't want a lukewarm Christian, right? And we having that freedom to know the difference between right and wrong, we're able to keep on that right path. It's the freedom to walk and live a life that Jesus says he wants us to have life to the fullest. That doesn't always mean doing what we want. That means living a life that is fulfilling what his calling is in our life. And And really, truly, at the end of the day, that's loving and caring for people.
Absolutely. Well, what we want is always going to be influenced by our sinful nature.
Mm.
Selfishness, things that I want. Whereas what God and what Jesus wants for us are a reflection of Him and all that's good. And so I always say, like with God, I mean, we can't earn it, but we should try to live a life that's worthy of it.
Right. It's that we usually say that salvation happens instantly, but sanctification, becoming more like Jesus, is a lifelong process. And we should always shoot for the stars and not be worried if we hit a couple branches on the way up.
Yeah.
Right?
I always think of like Saving Private Ryan, the end there when he, just that connotation, trying to live a life.
Yep.
Not that he's going to be perfect, but tried to be worthy of it.
I'd rather try and fail than not try at all.
Mm-hmm.
Right. All right, 6 sauce.
I may try and fail this. We'll see.
The Mako Snake Hot Sauce, the Spicy Shark. 71,000 Scoville units.
How come this is getting named after things that kill us?
I don't think that's a coincidence. Oh, this looks delightful. Eat the heat, it says. All right. We're halfway there, man. Oh, good stuff. Oh, I won't put the cap on. There you go.
No, you can go ahead and put the cap on. It's okay. I won't complain.
Bon appetit.
Sweetness to it.
Woo. That comes on.
There's a little heat behind that. It's like deceptive. It's sweet at the first and
You know what I'm learning?
hot at the
Ooh.
end.
Yeah, that's...
Water?
No, I'm good.
You sure? Okay.
No. You know what I'm kind of learning from these is how used to the Southwest heat, Southwest kind of heat that we're used to.
Yeah. I'm not usually into painful heat, but...
You know what's really painful heat is like Asian spice heat. Ooh, that stuff will get you because it's dull. That's sweet. Tastes kind of good. It's hot though.
It does have some back end heat there for sure.
So I figured at this point, which I picked it just right. We would need some questions that aren't so serious. What are some of your 4th of July traditions?
So it's changed over the years. Once I got married and moved back to Artesia as part of the Stephanie the Dean's family, and always very big to do fireworks and the fireworks show with Mike Deans. And, Mike and all them, and Michael always, worked the show. Me and Stephanie got to benefit from the show and watch it, but we would help a little bit, with the day of. But, always, 4th of July was always a big deal with their family, and even my family, freedom, fireworks, barbecues, family, and especially doing the Artesia Main Street. And that Mako is definitely making a comeback here.
Wash your face.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Feel the heat.
Feel the heat.
And recently it's changed, but because we no longer do the big fireworks show, but still having fireworks with our family, and we also like to go down to the Cayman Islands in July, and so we'll celebrate this 4th in Cayman, and they also have their Independence holiday about the same time, so we can still get fireworks. One of my favorite things to do is to go out in the dark on the ocean and take bottle rockets and little spinners, and you can throw them in the ocean, and they will go off, and they're like little torpedoes, and they blow up under the water, and then sometimes you get lucky and one come up like a submarine missile. Those are my favorites. So
that's good that you mentioned like the Dean's fireworks shows, because that's a huge part of my childhood. Growing up, and we used to even have the whole festival out there at JC Park, and then in the later years when they didn't do as much as the festival, we'd park over at the bowling alley and enjoy all of that. And I remember when I was younger, I'm going to say this, and I'm going to start it off with, boys, don't do this. Any kids watching, don't do what the youth pastor used to do, but we used to try to make our own little fireworks shows, me and my cousin, and we would string all these fireworks together with like hairspray. To try to get a line of spark from one to the other, and tons of big fireworks and tons of small fireworks, but just being kids. And I remember just like the fun and like the carefree attitude that
Yeah.
the 4th of July kind of brings. It's like that scene in, my goodness, it's hot. It's like that scene in The Sandlot, that 4th of July scene, and just, hamburgers and hot dogs on a 4th of July night, and just memories like that are really good.
Yeah.
I think traditions are really important on the 4th of July because it's a great time to celebrate.
Yeah. You always had to be careful with my father-in-law, though, because if you were distracted when fireworks were going on or setting up, he liked to he'd make these really big bangers, and some of them he'd claim they're quarter stick of dynamite or so, but then he had some smaller ones that were still pretty big boomers, and he would like to sneak up behind you and light one and throw it behind you, and it would shake the ground. No. And so he always had to be careful around my father-in-law that he wouldn't throw a big boomer behind you. And one time we used it in my backyard because I used to live next to him to take care of a gopher problem we had. It did leave a crater in my backyard, but we never saw the gopher again.
All right, 7th sauce. Jalapeno Chico. That's a little jalapeno.
Those popsicles are looking better right now.
Yeah, they are. Again, you're going to hear us get congested and everything.
Fresh one that's not
about to get raw.
Not
Thank you,
tainted
sir.
here.
Thank you, sir. Oh.
That's just sweat from the heat in the air, by the way.
Yeah, that's nothing to do with the hot sauce. Jalapeno Chico hot sauce, Adobo Loco, 103,000 Scoville units. Don't mix the sauces. It's thick. When I asked Chris to do this with me, he didn't even hesitate. He's like, yeah, sure.
Yeah. Yeah, we all make bad decisions.
We all make bad decisions. There we go. Oh, that blends in. Oh.
Definitely taste the adobo, but not a huge fan.
No. Wait for it.
I think now you're just stacking fire on fire. So
that's
I don't
why
know.
I think we almost should take a drink of water. Just to
first.
clear the palate.
Yeah.
You know what? There's no pride in pain.
Okay.
No pride in
That's
pain.
it. It's just because I'm thirsty. That's the
Gotcha.
only reason. Okay, but you first.
Just cleansing the palate. Oh no. That took the flame down the throat.
It's okay. I'm highly coated in Pepto-Bismol and Tums in my pregame.
I've never taken Tums before. I think that changes today.
Yeah.
Because I can feel the heat going down my...
Yeah, I think I need to buy stock in Tums and antacids.
One more fun question. What are your favorite fireworks?
So, just having fun during the day, bottle rockets, spinners. We like to take nice big smoke bombs, and you do these flashers and you throw them in. That's a lot of fun. And just doing stuff with the kids. And I just wipe my eyes. Yeah.
This could turn into a completely different video
Yes,
if you do that.
Yes. And hospital trip here.
Yeah.
And then obviously the bottle rockets and stuff, throwing them in the water, the ocean. That's one of my favorite things to do. And I like to imagine I'm killing lots of those black urchins that come out that I don't like those things. I did a night snorkeling one year in Cayman with Mike, and all those urchins are out, and you're above them just with a flashlight. And ever since then, I have little PTSD regarding black urchins in the sea. And but other than that, it's like big cakes, big fireworks, big shells. I love doing that stuff.
My teeth hurt. This is getting hot. Big fireworks. Okay, you ready for my favorite?
Sure.
Sparklers and snakes. They're my favorite. Nothing like a good sparkler on a 4th of July night. Oh, my teeth hurt. Okay, back to that was 101. We're jumping up, or 103. We're jumping up to 135,000 Scoville units with the 8th sauce. This is Evolution hot sauce called Da Bomb.
and has an atomic bomb on it. So let's
Has an
eat it.
atomic bomb on it. This is a bad idea.
Careful, Chris. You're touching your face.
I mean, we'll get views. But not the kind of views that we want.
Mm-hmm.
Woo!
Almost home.
We love y'all, West Main.
I was planning on still working after this, but I'm having doubts now.
Yeah, I'm calling in sick tomorrow, Mike. Just so you know. Ooh, come on. There we go. Nice and saucy. I don't know how the host of this show does this, like, all the time.
It's burnt out.
Here we go. Mm-hmm.
That is not good.
That's not good and it's hot.
Mm. It is hot, but not good at all.
Well, here's the thing. That could taste like Dr. Pepper and I wouldn't want to eat it again.
That is also true.
Woo! Oh, we're
The
getting
swallowing definitely is making a comeback.
Wait till you hear how hot this one is.
It might be about time to break out some milk. You want some milk?
I think I'm going to stick with the water, but feel free to grab some of that
Get
milk.
some milk, because
Whew.
get some Oreo cookies after this too.
Oh, man. I should have saved the fun questions for the end.
And
We still
also,
wanna-
milk and that does not go well together.
No, it doesn't.
No.
Oh, it doesn't go away. It's getting better. It's getting worse. Oh, okay. I was told that lime juice helps, so.
Mm.
Oh, there's a cap.
Yeah, the milk is not helping. Actually, I think it made it worse.
Yeah. I think it's just getting worse, bud. How do you open this? This is turning into a completely different kind of video. But that's okay. Oh, I broke that. Ice cream. Ice cream's good. We're gonna get right back to the questions in a second. We gotta do some damage control.
Okay, yeah.
Oh.
I'm feeling that one.
Uh-huh. Oh, I just looked at the Scoville unit for the next one.
Yes. Oh, nice and melty.
Oh. How? Remember, if you're getting hot outside, head into the gym and cool off. Make sure you're drinking lots of water. And sign up for that cornhole tournament that's happening. It's gonna be great. Okay. Ready for the question? I forgot to ask the question. What are some ways we as Christ followers can help unite our country? If you can think.
Well, completing a hot sauce challenge. Ooh. I'm having a hard time processing
Let me start us off.
things right now.
I think right now in our country, we are very just divided.
Mm-hmm.
We're being taught by education, by social media, by people on TV, on social media, that we have to be either here or here.
Mm.
And that anything in the middle is just a place to argue. Where Christ was very different. Christ accepted us where we were, where we are. And I think if we were more like that, to be less judgmental of where somebody is, because I know where I was when Jesus found me wasn't where I'm at now. And wasn't where I needed to be. So I think as Christ followers, as Christ followers, if we can learn to find people where they're at and to be there with them, and to work through some of that, just like we're working through this hot sauce right now. When I texted you earlier, I said the only way out is through. And it's the same way with Jesus.
You know
Got anything?
why you put yourself in front of me in the exit. Yes. Yeah, I think what you said is very true, being different, but it's also understanding the different levels of accountability between believers and non-believers. I think sometimes we try to hold non-believers to a believer standard, and that's where we can come across as very judgmental.
Yes.
And that, I do believe that, we should love, that's there, but I think we confuse kindness and love with just being nice. And I know some of the kindest things some people have done to me in my life were not easy. They were hard. And understandings that there is right, there is wrong, there is truth, there is evil in this world, and we shouldn't be surprised when bad people do bad things. So approaching with love, but also that there is truth and there is right, there is wrong, but doing that with love, and then also knowing who your audience is. I'm going to be very different to my son, who's a believer, than some stranger I'm meeting on the street.
Right.
But it's also as believers, helping hold each other accountable and doing what's right. Okay, that took a lot. But somehow talking seems to make it a little better.
I'm regretting.
I think your lemon idea was a bust, because
I wish it would. I wish it would bust, because then we could actually use it.
yeah, I'm afraid of going too hardcore and then it going everywhere. And
I mean, I'm just gonna do something. There we go.
okay, there you go.
Ladies and gentlemen, guys watching, I know that was weird, but you don't know the pain.
It's all good. Bottoms up here.
It didn't help. The boys are suppressing laughs back there. It's okay, boys. It's funny.
They're not really suppressing.
No, they're okay. Oh, the only way out.
How many of these we got left?
It's not how many. It's what they are.
You got 2 left. Chris.
The last one was 135 Scoville units. You want to take a guess at what this one's going to be?
I'm going to go with $1, Bob.
641,000
Goodbye, taste buds.
Scoville units. That's 6 times, 5.5 times.
Yeah.
Wow. This is called watermelon ghost hot sauce. It's made with ghost pepper.
Why did you put watermelon in it? Like, that's just...
Yeah, it's like it's hot and it's not going to taste good. Woo! It's summertime. That beats watermelon. I went through and I watched some of these episodes. And I thought, it can't be as bad as they make it look.
Maybe I should have done some more research before telling you yes.
My teeth hurt, man.
My lips are hurting.
That's the scary one.
Hop sauce.
All right.
Hop into your death is what I think they should call it.
Okay, guys, really keep your hands away from your face now. Use your towel.
Woo! Don't breathe in. It tastes horrible. It tastes so bad. Oh.
Concentrating on not breathing. Nose.
The
Nose.
last thing you want is to like inhale that spice into your throat, and then we'll be coughing all day long. It's the calm before the storm. Oh, here it comes. Oh,
I'm gonna try the lime juice again here.
oh man. Oh, again, the water took it back to the throat. You know what? I can talk. I can talk, okay.
That might be a latent killer.
You know what it is? When you breathe in, the oxygen is like activating the heat. Woo! Don't touch your eyes. I almost did it. If you feel like you want to try some of this stuff, come see me. We have a waiver that you can sign. Oh, I forgot to have you sign that waiver.
Oh.
It is hot. The boys are back there. I want to try it. Deacon gets to join youth group this coming year. Guess what we're doing? Chris is like, not my boy.
Guess what I'm gonna watch.
Woo! Okay. Our last question of the day. And really it's kind of the bottom line. The bottom line of this video. Besides don't eat this stuff. The bottom line of this video is, how can we, as followers of Christ, identify and live in the correct kind of freedom? What are your thoughts on that?
Not eating super hot sauce. That would be. That's all that's consuming me right now is hot sauce.
I'm dizzy right now.
I think, living in accountability, that's, accepting and having personal responsibility, but also surrounding yourself with your church and your friends and accountability partners and, reading your Bible, all these things. But like for me, I've always struggled with church, from a kid growing up, raised First Baptist here in Artesia, love that church, still do. But I struggled with it, and I couldn't say that, what did the church mean to me until an event happened in my life that was tragic, and had brought my mother back to live in Artesia with us, and she was supposed to meet us somewhere and didn't, but we thought she just didn't want to come because there was other people. And so finally we went to go check on her, and she didn't answer the door, and her car was there, and that's when I started getting worried. And we called the police and had to break in the back door. So my joke there was I did some breaking and entering with some police officers, and we found my mother, who had passed. And it was the one moment in my life that I could say that I experienced abject grief. There was no thought, there was no logic, there was no anything but raw emotion, and it was grief. And that's the one time in my life that I can say I experienced that. And I can say, well, what did my church and my small group mean to me? Was there wasn't anything I could do at that point. And people came and sat with me, Michael, Jason, others in my small group. And, and I do think of the story of Job when his friends came and sat with him, and that's what they did. There's nothing they could say, do, but they were there for me and during that time. But I recognized it in retrospect that if we hadn't made those relationships, if I hadn't taken the effort and, wanted to do some of those things and build those things, I could have been alone at that time. And that could have been very, very bad. Because then bad things can happen when you have dark thoughts. And so when I say what did that mean to me, was when that point, when I was weak, when I was in grief, my church was there, my people were there, and they didn't have to do anything. And there's other times when they've been there for me and helped us, and we've done that. And so when I talk to people about church and say why do you do that, it's hey, for when you're in those moments of weakness, when you're in those moments that you're in pain. People would be there for you. But if you don't make that investment, if you don't put the time in and try, people may not be there. And so that's one of my testimony as far as church is concerned. of why do I go to church? Why do I want to have this church family? Why do I want to have those relationships? Because yes, a lot of times I try to be strong. Ask my wife, I try to be the strong guy, the rock, the person who pushes through. Discipline, perseverance. Those are traits that I like. But there's going to be a time when you are just none of that matters. And who's going to be there to support you during that time and guide you and give you, I can just tell you that is an awesome memory for me, even though it was a terrible time. And I still, it's been many years, I still, sometimes break up when and cry when I think of things like that. But I also think of what an awesome experience it was during that time that my church and my people were there for me.
Thank you for sharing that. It's strange how things like that work, where in some of our most traumatic and painful times is where we experience that love that we're talking about from other people so strongly. Thanks for sharing that with us. For me, this idea of living in freedom, I think, again, it's easy, especially on a day like today, around a day like the 4th of July, where we're thinking of this independence and we're thinking of what that means, what's yelled in our face, what that independence and what that freedom means. It is not the same. And we're losing that. I think even as a country, we're losing that. If we're losing that as a country, even more so we're losing that as faithful followers of Christ. We get tricked into
Comfort.
We get tricked into, this is how I feel, so everybody should be okay with that. We get tricked into being misguided by something that is not Jesus, right? By the enemy. And sometimes the enemy doesn't look like the enemy. Sometimes the enemy, sometimes a really hot and painful thing can be just it looks nice, it's got a watermelon on it. And it's the same thing when it comes to freedom. Freedom can look beautiful and happy and fun and good for you. But if you take a closer look at what's on the inside, sometimes that freedom is poison. Right? And the way you distinguish between poisonous freedom and the good kind of freedom is following what God says freedom is for you as a Christ follower. And what that means is kind of what you talked about earlier. It means reading your Bible and understanding Scripture. It means fellowship like what we're doing today and finding like-minded people that want to go the same direction with you. It means being a part of a church family that's going to be there for you in the hardest times, and we're going to be here for you in the fun times like today as we're having this cookout. Right?
Use that fun. Don't throw that around here.
I don't know about right now. But today, this week, is just a time for us to really celebrate the freedom as you have it as an American, but realize where that freedom needs to be remembered as Christ's freedom. You are free to live. You are free from the chains of sin. You are free from the chains of hell. And that's all because Jesus came and died for us so that he could take our place. And with that, I want to thank you, Chris, for joining us. I don't know if thank you is the correct word, but I really appreciate you taking this challenge with me. And I say that because this last one, we're done with questions. We're done, right? This last one is optional for you.
Yeah. Well, someday this will just be a story that we tell, but today it's going to be pain.
Woo! That's what I like to hear. Chris Simons is going for what they call the last dab. This is called the Apollo.
The sun god.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
On the website, the Scoville heat unit rating for this is to be determined. I did some more research. I wish I hadn't. 2.5 million Scoville units. The last one was 641,000. So we're talking about 3.5 times Actually, 4 times the heat. Right here. I hope you're having a really good time today. I really do hope you enjoy all the stuff that we put together.
See, my oldest son back there is having a real good time watching Dad.
We love you.
Love you, Dad. See you.
Yep.
See you in the afterlife.
Oh gosh.
It looks like a really thick motor oil when you haven't changed it in a long time, and it just kind of.
Chris, you've been a friend. We'll see how you treat me after today.
Yeah, this may be our last supper.
Really let it coat the tongue. Oh no! Oh no! Oh no!
Hmm. You know, it's not bad.
More.
Child's play.
No, here's coming. Mm.
Oh, is it coming?
Oh, it's coming.
Why?
Oh, I got on my mouth.
Why?
Mm. You definitely
Oh no!
taste that in my mouth.
Breathe out your nose, not your mouth.
Mm.
This one was literally, the chili was made in a lab. Huh? So I have all the questions written down here. And after this one, I have in red letters, sit and suffer. We're good. It's not hot at all. Let me take this opportunity. Oh! Let me take
It's getting
this
worse as time goes on.
Let me take this opportunity to address a very special person today. Clint Brown. We're coming for that cornhole championship. We're gonna win. Loser has to eat some of this. That's actually a good idea. My challenge, Clint, if you so feel up to it. 1-on-1. You and me. Winner gets the bragging rights. Loser gets the last stab. Oh! Mm.
Mm.
Oh!
Ready to cry?
Oh no!
It's tears of joy, son.
No, not mine. Don't touch your face.
I'm using the back here.
You don't even like orange.
Well, I'll take orange, I don't care.
Okay.
Holy crap.
Oh.
That's nice.
Hey, did you like the video? Because I didn't. Thanks for watching, though. And thanks to Chris Simons for joining us and giving us insight on what freedom really is. Thank you to Mike for filming and for getting everything ready for us. Hey, we hope you have a great 4th of July weekend. Stay cool out there. We love you. God bless. See ya.